All right, let's talk about something that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction, but is very, very real. We're looking at what might be the first ever AI playbook for diplomats, and it comes from a major developing nation, Indonesia. This isn't just a memo, it's the new reality of global politics.
And that's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, AI is an unbelievably powerful tool, but it doesn't really get things like cultural nuance or context or human intuition. So how in the world do you guide your diplomats to use this technology on the world stage without accidentally causing a massive international incident? Well, Indonesia is tackling that question head-on.
So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll set the scene, AI on the world stage. Then we'll dive right into the playbook itself, the real nuts and bolts, the do's and the don'ts. And we'll wrap it all up with Indonesia's bigger vision, which you'll see is the key to this whole thing.
Look, AI is getting woven into everything now. We're talking trade, national security, international relations, the whole shebang. Just trying to wing it is no longer an option. And for a country like Indonesia, I mean, this is the world's fourth largest country by population, with a digital economy that is absolutely exploding. Having a clear strategy isn't just a smart idea, it's essential for their future.
Okay, so before we even get into any of these specific rules, Indonesia puts this one core principle on the table: human-centric AI. This is their foundation. And for them, you got to understand, this isn't just some corporate buzzword. It's a geopolitical stance. In a world where AI is often driven by either big tech profits or state surveillance, this carves out a third path, one that puts people first. It's basically their North Star for navigating this new territory.
All right, let's get into the game plan. The do's in this playbook aren't just about how to use AI. They're an offensive strategy. This is Indonesia's plan for actively getting on the field and shaping the global conversation. They're making sure that the rules of this new digital world aren't written without them at the table. And this right here, this shows you just how big their ambitions are. As a leader in Southeast Asia and the developing world, they're not just fighting for themselves. They're pushing for rules that benefit everyone, not just the usual tech superpowers. They want to share knowledge, not hoard it, and focus AI on solving actual problems. It really is all about leveling the playing field.
This proactive mindset also applies directly to the diplomats themselves. The rules are pretty clear. You need to be an expert, you have to keep learning, get comfortable using modern tools, and, this is key, you have to talk to everyone. We're talking academics, tech companies, civil society, because you just can't make a well-rounded policy if you're living in a bubble. So, what does this actually look like day to day? Well, this gives us a really practical step-by-step process. Go ahead, use AI as your assistant. Let it help you get a first draft of a speech or a document down on paper. But, and this is the crucial part, the human diplomat must take complete control after that. They're on the hook for every single word, making sure it's accurate, the tone is right, and it lines up with national policy. The AI is the tool, not the author.
Now let's flip the coin. We've talked about the offense, now for the defense. The don'ts are the defensive guardrails. If the do's are all about seizing opportunities, the don'ts are all about preventing a catastrophe. These are the absolute red lines for a technology that, let's be honest, we're all still trying to get our heads around.
This comparison really gets to the heart of the matter. The proactive goal, the do, is to push for rules that include everybody. But the don't is that constant critical reminder of what's at stake. It's saying, hey, don't you dare forget that a lot of nations are struggling just to keep up. The point isn't just to help the countries already at the front of the pack run faster.
And here we get to the absolute non-negotiables. The human must always be in the loop. Always. AI does not get to be the final decision maker. National security is, of course, paramount, which means you never, ever put sensitive data into a public AI tool. And you never, ever, ever rely on information that an AI spits out without checking it yourself. These aren't just suggestions, they're bright red lines.
Strategically, Indonesia is drawing some incredibly important lines in the sand here. They're refusing to look at AI as some kind of zero-sum arms race. They're committing to rejecting bias systems full stop. And that last one, wow, that one is huge. Don't solely consume technology from other countries. This is a declaration of digital sovereignty. It's a stand against a new kind of colonialism, where your country's entire digital future is dictated by foreign tech.
So all of this, the do's, the don'ts, it all leads us to the ultimate vision that's driving this entire playbook. It's about a fundamental shift in how Indonesia sees itself and, just as important, how it wants to be seen on the world stage.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? It is so direct, so ambitious. This is the engine behind every single rule we've talked about. It's a declaration of self-determination in the digital age. They plan to help build the future, not just live in a future that was built by somebody else.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? This diplomatic protocol is so much more than some internal government memo. It's a blueprint. It's a potential model for any emerging nation that wants to make that shift. The shift from just being a technology taker to being a technology maker, and a rule shaper in the process.
And that leaves us with this final, critical question. Indonesia has drafted its playbook, but as AI becomes completely embedded in the fabric of global relations, who gets to write the master rulebook for everyone else? And will their vision be as focused on building an inclusive, human-centric future?